This is the first time, Jen, that I have felt like the 2024 election is in great trouble for the president and for our Democratic control, which is essential.
Premila Jayapal, she likes the jihad, genocide, and Joe Biden. They go together, don't they? Like carrots and peas, like hand in mitten. Just one of many genocidal, racists, anti-Semite Democrat members of Congress. The big rally in Washington, D.C. Over the weekend, it was on Saturday. The news media, well, the Washington Post didn't cover it. They didn't think it was really news. They have a new editor, though. They're very excited, and he's got a very special photographer, the new editor of the Washington Post. Is that what he is, the new editor? The biggest rally in the history of the world on Saturday here in Washington, pro-jihad. It was the Jihad March. It reminded me of the 1926 KKK March in Washington, D.C., where a whole lot of Democrats showed up dressed in white, kind of like Governor Ralph Northam. Remember Governor Ralph Northam? He likes to kill the babies after they're born and presumably collect their organs. I mean, what would be the point of letting it go to the last moment and got to get the organs? Come on. But that was Ralph Northam. He was the guy in the white sheets in the KKK outfit. Maybe it was a Halloween party, and he was going as Democrat Senator Robert Byrd, friend of Joe Biden's. That's possible. But the big and famous and notorious 1926 KKK march in Washington, D.C. was outdone on Saturday. Really, it was outclassed, outpaced in every way. The crowd was bigger. It was a mob. They attacked the White House. They got their bloody hands all over the wall at the White House. One person was arrested but should have been like 10,000 people arrested and probably thrown in the D.C. jail without bail and without lawyers. It's a tradition that we have in Washington, D.C. now. Wrong political party. I'm sorry, wrong. Again, I was talking to Sebastian Gorka. I was like, well, if there had been one person with a MAGA hat, then it'd be front page news. But as a result of the fact that it's all jihadis and Democrats, but I repeat myself, not really news in Washington, D.C., quite extraordinary. The Washington Post, which I still amazingly have delivered to my front doorstep every day, they've got a Sunday edition of the paper. It's supposed to be a big deal. It's the Washington Post. It's the Sunday edition. It's supposed to weigh more. And with this giant rally of jihadis, of genocidal racists, genocidal anti-Semites, by the tens of thousands, and it is one of the bigger crowds we've seen in Washington, D.C. for a long time. We see a lot of big crowds here. And this crowd on Saturday was a big crowd. And they were on Pennsylvania Avenue between the Capitol and the White House, and they made their way to the White House, and there was vandalism, and the police were freaked out because of this mob, and rightly so. The mob up on the fence line to the White House, and they, of course, graffitied things up with red paint because it's genocide, which is what they actually want, against the Palestinians, which it is not, and there are really no such thing as Palestinians, but never mind that. Pretty amazing stuff. Massive, massive rally, a racist rally, a genocidally racist rally, an anti-American rally, an anti-Israel, obviously, rally, a pro-Hamas rally. Did you see? I want to play this audio for you today about these. A video posted. The claim is that it comes from the Israel version of Saturday Night Live. I'm not sure if that's actually true. Oh, it is true? It is?
It's not Saturday Night Live, but
it's a comedy show in Israel? It is, and it's quite funny. And they got, these American punk, candy-butted college kids with one has blue hair who's presumably a boy, and the other has kind of pink hair who's presumably a girl. And they're very proud of their LGBTQH. Their LGBTQH. What is that, you say, LGBTQH? Well, it's, of course, LGBTQ, which changes every now and then, but lesbian, gay, bisexual, queer, whatever. And H is Hamas. So now they're Now they're LGBTQ Hamas, LGBTQH, which I think is kind of fun. And they have a meeting with an armed Hamas terrorist because they're enlightened, liberal, Democrat college kids in the United States of America who have been drawn into the Hamas jihad, the genocidal death wish for Israel from the river to the sea. We shared with you last week or even 2 weeks ago a ridiculous article. Who is that guy, Bloomberg? That from the river to the sea doesn't really mean anything about wiping out Israel and wiping Israel off the face of the map, because they will lie if called upon to do so. And boy, do they. But this funny video that I will share the audio portion with you since I'm on the radio, but it's pretty funny stuff. And we will share it with you on our social media, on the Twitter and the Facebook. And where else will we share it, Michael? On Instagram, because you got to be on Instagram. How about like 5 other things that you got to, because honestly. But in any event, it's pretty funny with the gay, trans, liberal, LGBTQH, and how the guy playing the Hamas, AK-47 toting Hamas guy in camouflage with his face concealed, how he responds to the LGBTQH crowd. Kind of fun stuff. But back to the Democrats rallying for genocide. It was the rally for genocide. What is it, the March for Genocide? Shouldn't they have a concert? Shouldn't they should get a bunch of musicians together and have you remember like the concert for Bangladesh? And what's the one with the volcano in the Caribbean? They had a concert for, Montserrat, because volcano, something like that. There have been a lot of cause concerts over the years. Leave your ego at the door, all these. But it's time for like a concert for genocide, because now the Democrat Party is pro-genocide. They are out of the closet, and they're marching. This was jihadis from the Middle East and Democrats who self-describe as liberal that were out in the streets of Washington vandalizing the White House by the tens of thousands. And that's just fine because the Democrats, right? And they've got chants like from the river to the sea. They love chanting things. They love rhyming things. That's in there with the LGBTQH kids too. But they love this, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be freer. That misses a syllable, though. It should be Palestine will soon be free, I think, because that would be better. But it turns out, well, we're working. We're very musical people here at the Chris Plant Show. So you are? Well, we're sure, why not? So we're working on chants of our own. Obama just gave them the nod. The Democrats are pro-jihad. See? Because you got your from the river to the sea. From the river to the sea! From the river to the sea! They sound like good neighbors, don't they? Palestine will be free. Somebody count the number of syllables there. I think there may be some asymmetry, but I'm not sure. I haven't gone back to count the syllables. Michael's counting.
It's like a 7 and 6 situation. 7
and 6? That's what I thought. You need one more syllable. I didn't even count them. It just seemed intuitively to be asymmetric to me. And from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. It should be soon be free. That's what I said before.
Hold Palestine for a note. Palestine.
Everybody needs writers, and it's amazing. So they had the bigger than the KKK rally that the Democrats threw in 1926 in Washington D.C., and a similar crowd, to be sure, genocidal racists. And I'm not sure the Democrat Klan was even genocidal in the way that the jihadis are genocidal. But now the Democrats and Barack Obama, he spoke over the weekend. Was he wearing men's clothing this time? And that's another thing. Speaking of which, there are a bunch of Democrats that are now saying, including David Axelrod. He used to be a news reporter, then he became a Democrat political operative. Usually it goes the other way. You start out as a Democrat political operative, then you get your own news show on MSNBC or on CNN. But David Axelrod, he seems to be suggesting, and the Democrats have their panties in a wedge, seems to be suggesting that Joe Biden should not be the nominee next year. For how many months have I been saying this? I made the video months ago that Joe Biden would not be the nominee when Election Day came. But Obama just gave them the nod. The Democrats are pro-jihad. We got to work on more lyrics for that, because I think more rhymes. I think I'm better at rhyming than most jihadis, even though I don't really try very hard. I'm not a rapper, but, why would I be?
From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.
She's from another galaxy.
I need you louder.
I don't talk that talk. I don't. These are like white liberals who go to George Washington University for $70,000 a year of their parents' money, trying to speak Arabic and chant, death to the Jews. They're trying real hard. They would like very much to kill the Jews. That much they know. Some of them claim to be Jews themselves. So it's that self-loathing thing. The Democrats have really capitalized on this. In any case, the Washington rally was gigantic, reminiscent of the 1926 KKK rally. It was September 13th. The photographs make it look like there are maybe 2,000 Klansmen. Some universities say it was 30,000 Klansmen. You look at the aerial pictures. No, I don't think anywhere close to that, but that doesn't matter. And then, so they had the big rally on Saturday. And my best girl and I would normally go to every big rally, but we had visitors in town. My best girl's Irish uncle, he's from Ireland. He lives in Canada now, and he's staying with us. And, we had lots of things to do with him out and about in Washington. And my best girl's two sisters from the greater Atlanta metropolitan area, with us also. And so we didn't get down to the pro-jihad, the pro-genocide rally, the From the River to the Sea rally, which the Democrats are in full support of. And the Biden people are in a flop, sweat, transgender panic at this point, because they're afraid if they go one way, they're going to lose the Jewish vote and Jewish donors. And if they go the other way, they're going to lose the jihad vote and the jihad donors. So you can see why they'd be torn, as Democrats often are, not just on matters of gender, but often, certainly on matters of gender. Now, I got my Washington Post, this giant rally, the biggest since the Klan rally in 1926, of racist lunatics in the nation's capital. And they violated the White House and vandalized the White House and vandalized statues, and only one arrested, and I'd probably let him go already. Gave him a gift basket, because Democrats run Washington, and they're criminals. They're all criminals. All Democrats, and all the Democrats that run the city of Washington. And also we have Trayon White, right? We got Trayon White, who's a Democrat member of the city council, who believes that the Rothschilds, Jewish bankers, control the weather in Washington, D.C., and made it snow on him when he was driving in Washington, D.C., because he's not mentally ill or anything. He's just another mainstream Democrat. He's Trayon White. And the Rothschilds control the weather. Because when you're a Democrat, you can say whatever the hell you want, and the Washington Post won't notice it. Speaking of which, you can have the biggest rally, bigger than the KKK rally of 1926, and the Washington Post may not report that either. Trayon White, Democrat, city council member, Washington, D.C., the capital of the United States of America.
Man, it just started snowing out of nowhere this morning, man.
Must be the Jews.
Y'all better pay attention to this climate control, man. This climate manipulation. And D.C. keep talking about we're a resilient city. And that's a model based off the Rothschilds controlling the climate to create natural disasters. They can pay for it and own the cities, man. Be careful.
He was reelected after them. And so I picked up my Washington Post on Sunday, and I was alarmed to see that the lead story with a big picture above the fold on the Sunday paper the day after the biggest racist rally in the history of the city of Washington. And it's a picture of somebody in Sudan wading through a swamp with garbage bags. And Chico Harlan wrote, "In South Sudan, a climate crisis deepens misery," which I think goes without saying. But nowhere on the front page will you find any mention of the biggest racist rally a genocidal mob of racists in Washington, D.C., and there it's not anywhere on the front page. And then I started leafing through the A sectional, and you'll never guess what I found. That's coming right up. We are at 888-630-9625. Hey, it's Chris Plant. Excited to tell you about our July 2024 Listener Sea Cruise. We'll be sailing around the British Isles, visiting Scotland and Ireland. Please join us. Book by this July 31st for extra savings. Visit ChrisPlantCruise.com. All right, I've got Barack Obama for you today. I have this fun audio from a comedy show in Israel mocking American enlightened college students who have become genocidal, pro-jihad anti-Semites and liberals in good standing with the Democrat Party at the same time. It's a remarkable time to be on the planet. Extraordinary stuff. All right, let's go to a telephone call because lots of nice people have already called in. We are at 888-630-9625, and we've got a lot more other than the Democrat Jihad Squad, which is growing like a tumor. It's not a tumor. It is a tumor. All right, let's go to Keith calling from Vienna, Virginia. Keith, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good, Keith. What do you say?
I was talking to your call screener that several days ago I was listening to Vince, and he kind of had a similar observation that of all of, the Antifa, the Black Lives Matter, and now this new PLA, PLO, Hamas demonstrations, the women are almost always worse than the men in terms of just this hysterical, out-of-body screaming. And he said, something, it seems like they're like almost like demonic possession. And I thought to myself, he's right. That's exactly how it sounds.
Yeah, well, it reminded us this morning of the movie The Exorcist. While Reagan was being exorcised and, cursing, and your mother supports the PLO in hell. And you're absolutely right. I couldn't agree more. You're right. The most vocal, the loudest, the craziest people at these rallies tend to be women. They use them like human shields as their front men, as it were.
What do we want? I can't hear you. What do we want?
Yeah, I can't hear you.
What do we want?
And it sounds like the whole crowd is women, doesn't it?
It's frightening. I mean, that it sends chills through my spine sometimes when I hear that.
Yeah. Well, do you believe in God?
Absolutely.
Well, then you have to believe in Satan and the devil as well, right?
That is a logical corollary.
Yes, it very much is. You're absolutely right. And so the devil's work on earth was on parade in Washington. We won't get fooled again. Or perhaps we will. Chances are pretty good that we will, actually. Regardless of what the WHO claimed. Now, I didn't quite finish my Washington Post tale because we had the biggest racist rally in the history of Washington, D.C., bar none, I think. There are news media saying the crowd was up to 100,000 people. Some activists were claiming it was multiple hundreds of thousands of people, but they lie all the time, so you can't believe anything they say. They're like Hamas, and they are Hamas supporters, after all, enthusiasts for Hamas, which is a genocidal, racist, jihad organization, and the Democrat Party is right there with them. Barack Obama gave him the nod. The Democrats are pro-jihad. But back to the Washington Post, because Sunday, my Washington Post came and I looked at the front page and I'm like, let's see what stories, because where's the story of the biggest racist rally in the history of Washington, D.C.? I think not even on the lead up to the Civil War did we have any rally like this in Washington, D.C. But the Democrats did rally in the 1920s for the KKK. That was the biggest one. Thousands of people dressed like Democrats with pointed white hats, like Governor Ralph Northam and Senator Robert Byrd and so many other Democrats. But I went to my Washington Post, so like, we're the most giant racist rally in the history of the city. And the front page has a story about the weather in Sudan. Say, weather in Sudan's kooky, isn't it? And it's got a picture that makes it look like a hellhole because it's a hellhole. So pretty much any picture you take there is going to make it look like a hellhole. That's the big front page above the fold giant picture. And their big story about the climate crisis, because it's always the agenda all the time. And their lead story, upper right-hand corner, many Gazans remain on front. On front. That means killing the Jews, but they use a euphemism here. They remain on front. 400,000 could be in north, U.S. says. Israel presses forward as war nears 1 month mark. Oh, it's a war? I thought it was a genocide. Because on Saturday, I listened to what they were saying on Pennsylvania Avenue and in front of the White House, and it was genocide. Then also on the front page, DeSantis backslides in bid for both sides. So it's another hit piece, which they have every single day and have for years on Ron DeSantis. And then the William Lewis named publisher and CEO of the Washington Post, and they hired like an Annie Leibovitz-style photographer to shoot mysterious pictures of him in the shadow, looking like a mysterious author of some kind, dressed in black. Looks like he's looking for girls. And they got these pictures of former Dow Jones Wall Street Journal executive as touted as strong fit. He's a strong fit. But wait a minute, I'm saying that where's the giant racist rally with maybe 100,000 jihadis in Washington, D.C., half of whom are Democrats that went to local colleges for too much of their parents' money. Then they got a story about he had a stroke at a gas station, then lost nearly everything. That says, but I'm like, wait a minute, where's the... As media reaches a tipping point, content creators surge. This is the front page. I'm like, but where's the giant... So I turned the page 2. No, not there, page 3. Not there, page 4. No, 5. I went through the entire A-sectional. And there is not a mention of the biggest jihad rally in the history of the United States of America and the beginning of the Holy War in the United States of America. There's a hit piece on Nikki Haley, another hit piece on Trump. They got another fluff piece on their new CEO, who they're sucking up to, and he works for the richest man in the world. And he used to work for Rupert Murdoch, but don't let that deceive you. And boy, the Rafah crossing, and they got a... But wait a minute, where is the biggest rally in favor of genocide that the country's ever seen? Well, it's not in the A-sectional at all, because they don't cover the news. They cover it up. And then they've got a hit piece on the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, actually more than one hit piece on him. The People's House is back in business and crazier than ever, says Dana, I'm out of my depth Milbank. They still pay him to type on behalf of the gender-confused left? I guess they do. Yes, they do. And so a hit piece on him. But nowhere, there's not a story, not a single story about any of it. They've got their political cartoon is naturally an anti-Trump piece, depicting Trump as a gangster with money bags around him. Not like Joe Biden and the Biden organized crime family and all the millions coming from Ukraine and, Krookistan and every place else. So where's the code? The Washington Post doesn't cover the news. They're filth. They're just filth. Then you go to the Metro sectional. They got the A sectional and then the Metro sectional. More of them are Metro sectional than at the Washington Post, but a lot of them are A sectional as well. And they've got a hit piece on the governor of Virginia, Glenn Youngkin. That's the big color picture. And then D.C. law to target drug markets. But the Democrats are upset. They don't want to target drug markets. Then a hit piece on a Republican running for office in Virginia. And they want you to vote for the CIA woman who's, if you can't trust the CIA, who can you trust? And a hit piece on Juan Pablo Segura, which means they're racists because the Republican Juan Pablo Segura is a great American who loves America. And the CIA woman lies in political ads and says terrible things. By the way, tomorrow is Election Day in Virginia and the Commonwealth of Virginia. And if you're a sane person and you haven't gotten out and voted yet, then you should get out and vote. If you're a Democrat, you're a jihadi and you probably shouldn't vote. But wait, here at the bottom of the Metro sectional front page, there is a little story. Rally for Palestinians, ceasefire draws thousands. No, tens and tens of thousands, and many are saying 100,000. Emotions range from anger to encouragement as protesters coverage near the White House. That is, it's a little irrelevant story, and they downplayed it like nobody's business. And hey, wait, where are the pictures of the vandalized White House and the graffiti and where's all that? And they got a picture of a woman with a bullhorn who's screaming at the top of her lungs because of, the mental illness of the jihadi left. Dunya El-Jamal with a bullhorn who traveled from New York City to attend demonstrations. She leads the crowd in chants. They love chants, don't they? Just amazing stuff. Now, again, if these were, you get away with murder when you're a lefty. Literally, you could shoot somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue and you wouldn't lose a Democrat jihadi vote. If you're Jewish and you're a Democrat, it's time to wake up. If you're black and you're a Democrat, it's time to wake up. In fact, if you're a Democrat, it's time to wake up. Your party is the party of jihad. And Obama just gave them the nod. The Democrats are pro-jihad. Now, what have I done to the clock here? I want to go to this video. Haaretz, the Israeli news outlet, published a video clip from a television show in Israel. Israeli TV lampoons pro-Palestinian protests in U.S. universities. And it's kind of fun. The, what's it called? Haaretz, Neheret, I'm mangling the name of the TV show. Israel's version of Saturday Night Live aired a skit criticizing the pro-Palestinian progressives at Columbia, and they, instead of being Columbia University, they deliberately mangle it to Columbia Unisemite. It's like one, anti-Semite. It's they combined a couple of words. And the video is a couple of liberal Democrat-looking white kids. The boy, and they have Palestinian garb. The boy is wearing a Free Palestine T-shirt, and he's wearing an Arab headdress tied around his neck, and he has blue hair. And then the woman has pink, unnaturally colored hair, and the two of them are standing in front of what appears to be a government-style university building with columns, a limestone building. And behind them, there are a couple of posters stuck on the wall, kidnapped kids, pictures of kidnapped kids, right? And so these two college students who are LGBTQ, they explain, but they're LGBTQH because they're pro-Hamas now. And they then strike up a conversation by remote, like a Zoom call, with a Hamas guerrilla terrorist dressed in camouflage with his face covered with a Palestinian headdress, and he's holding and rubbing and stroking his AK-47. And it's funnier than anything Saturday Night Live has done in years. So Israel's top satirical television show took aim at rising hostility to Israel on American college campuses over the weekend, lampooning pro-Palestinian students as clueless Hamas sympathizers looked upon with contempt by the Gaza-based terrorist group they support. In a 3-minute sketch broadcast over the weekend, the show leaned hard into criticism of pro-Palestinian progressives, Democrats. And it sounded like this. I can only give you the audio portion because we're doing radio. and not television. That's just in case any Democrats are listening at home. And here are the two very gay-looking blue hair, pink hair boy, girl with their pro-Palestine stuff.
Hi, everyone. We are live on YouTube with Colombia Anti-Semitic News, where everyone is welcome. LGBTQH.
H?
Hamas.
Yeah, I totally sim Hamas.
Yeah.
It's so trending right now.
From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Do you know why it's true?
Why?
Because it rhymes.
See, because it rhymes. Just like Obama has given them the nod, the Democrats are pro-jihad. It continued.
Just look at all this toxic Zionist propaganda. Kidnapping
Zionist.
Gaza. Does this look like Gaza to you?
Yeah, but I have no idea what Gaza looks like.
And they're smiling. Do hostages smile? Zionist liars.
Totally.
The flyers with the hostages are, pictures, family pictures and things that have been given to the people putting up the hostage flyers, people being held hostage. And they're smiling. They're having fun.
Totally sus.
Do they think we're stupid?
Stupid? I major in queer post-colonial astrology. Ew. Jews make the world dirty.
Jews make the world dirty. He majored in queer post-colonial astrology at Columbia University. He queer post-colonial astrology?
I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm racist fluid.
Exactly. And now for a little break from all this activism, we want to say hello to our BFF,
Bestie freedom fighter.
Abu Fatwa in Gaza. Salam alaikum.
Alaikum as-salam, and
Here he comes.
inshallah, Allah will kill you all infidels.
Thank you so much for joining us. Love the headpiece, the all oppression chic. Very drip.
Oppression
Mr.
chic.
Fatwa,
Mr.
how
Fatwa.
are you? Are you safe?
Oh yes, I'm
safe.
safe. I'm in a tunnel under the Gaza hospital. Above me, I have Allah and 2 million civilians protecting me.
Community is so important these days.
Community, so they love the word community. I always make fun of them using the word community. They use the words, but they don't know what they mean. Oppression chic is funny. And he's protected by Allah and 2 million civilians above him because he's dwelling in a tunnel like the troglodyte that he is.
Do you need like humanitarian aid, food, fuel, medicine?
It's
Democrats.
okay, I have everything. I'm only hungry for rockets.
As long as it's organic.
Yeah.
I wish I just could be there with you.
You can come to Gaza anytime and we will throw you from the roof, you homosexual dirt.
Do you hear? Bro, want to throw me a rooftop party.
They are so welcoming and inclusive.
So shukran.
Inclusive. So shukran. Shukran is Arabic for thank you. So shukran. Misusing it. They use the words, but they don't know what they mean.
And you are also very welcome to come here to America.
We will come. First we finish with Israel and America is next.
Great! So I guess we'll see you soon.
Yes, it would be a blast.
Can't wait. It will be so multicultural.
Ya Allah, you are so stupid.
Thank you so much, Abu. We love you.
I won't even bother killing you. It's a waste of bullets.
Good vibes only.
It's better you just kill yourself.
Okay, bye.
Die.
From the river to the sea, Palestine will be Jews free. Yeah, that sounds better.
It is better.
Will be Jews free. Palestine will be Jews free. That sounds better as the thing. Now, Saturday Night Live would never do that because Saturday Night Live is not funny. The writer's strike is over, but you can't tell it by watching Saturday Night Live. That's for sure. So there's a great skit on Israeli TV, and the LGBTQH crowd now got to add Hamas to their whole spiel. Obama just gave them the nod. The Democrats are pro-jihad. We have Barack Obama coming up in the next hour as well. He spoke ad nauseum. Emphasis on nauseum. Send Hamas some soups and stews. Nourishment to kill the Jews. I'm working on Democrat Party chants. They've got a lot of rallies they like to rally in. Obama just gave them the nod. The Democrats are pro-jihad. Send Hamas some soups and stews, nourishment to kill the Jews. Now, those were the chants. The Washington Post didn't think it was a newsworthy event because they're not a legitimate news organization. Let's go to the telephone. But we got Barack Obama and Rashida Tlaib, and they're jihadis. A lot of Democrats are legit jihadis, and the news media is in it with them because it's chic to be genocidal. That's the kind of cultural sway the Democrat Party has. Let's go to Mike calling from Gainesville, Virginia. Mike, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hey, good Monday morning, Chris Plant.
Hey, Mike.
I want to thank you for starting my day off with Rashida Tlaib screaming like a banshee in my ear.
Hey, it's the news of the day. I didn't get her elected or anything. I just, the Democrats got her elected. They're going to get her elected again, too. But there are a lot of psychotic Democrats out there, aren't there?
They certainly are, but they're all poets. I was telling Jasmine, all you have to do is just make your absurd political argument rhyme, and it will fool the stupefied masses every time.
That's why we're working on rhymes here, with got to send Hamas some soups and stews, nourishment to kill the Jews, and Obama just gave them the nod. The Democrats are pro-jihad. So we might turn it into a song later.
Yeah, it's a rhyme war going on.
It is. So did you go to the big rally? You live in Gainesville. Did you go to the big pro-jihad rally in Washington that the Democrats supported?
No, I was smart enough to stay away from that. I didn't go anywhere near that.
Probably a good idea.
You're the one that lives near that.
Yeah, normally I would have gone down, but we were busy with normal people, so I couldn't go down and, get a taste of the jihad, the Democrat Party's genocidal jihad. What happened to the Democrat Party, Michael?
Well, they've been misinformed, disinformed into some sort of flash mob of stupid. I mean, it's just amazing.
Yeah, I think that's right. Misinformed, disinformed, flash mob of stupid. They are the jihad. The jihad is alive and well in the United States. The jihadis have never been as happy before as they are today because now they know they've got the backing of the Democratic Party in the United States of America.